Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Lionel, and I'm your host for LT Productions. You are watching I Watch You Watch. We're covering Love and Marriage Huntsville. This is season 10, episode 7. I do appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. So go on and sit back and relax. This episode didn't have a lot of meat and potatoes. It was more hors d'oeuvres and salad and possibly some breadsticks from Olive Garden or some rolls from Texas Roadhouse, and we're just gonna get full off of that. I think I could just call for what this episode gave Destiny's kind of MVP. She handles herself well with these Fletchers. We get into Nell and her craziness and stuff I got to talk about. Because what? Ken talks about that he's tired. Kelly Price tired. And Martell and Marceau say the same redundant stuff that we've been hearing about for too many seasons. I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Like this video, subscribe, and leave your comments. Now let's get into it. Okay. All right. So we have the conversation that we've been wanting, I guess, since episode 1. Destiny and Lance, they sit down. Destiny brings a baby gift. I think she was being nice, but it just felt like a shade type thing at the same time. But cool. I think that she meant well by it. And they get into the gist of what's going on. Why didn't you tell me about this baby? He said and claims that he hid it from everyone, even his parents. That doesn't make sense to me, because they opened their house to you with open arms during the first few months of your daughter's birth. And you mean to tell me that you don't know nothing about that? That you wouldn't have told them about that? I don't believe that. However, he did say that he did not know if this was his baby, and he was waiting on the paternity of it to even claim the baby. I could see why he wouldn't mention anything. However, there's still some respectability part of this, because you could have still said, hey, I could have a baby on the way or not. I was messing with this girl, and we weren't exclusive or anything, but it was just like, it could be mine. I still think it's still cool to have a heads up, despite not being so exclusive or anything to that nature. Well, if you're exclusive and having children. So I don't get that at all. I just don't understand how nobody is owed an explanation of anything. But later on in this episode, you need to count the miles and put miles on Destiny's cooch. And I'm just trying to understand what's going on with you now. Okay, so in his confessional, Lance is talking about, well, he said why he left LA, because she brought that up, like, we heard that the baby was being delivered and all y'all left. And he said, no, I was just seeing some red flags. And that's why we left. Okay? This don't make no sense. So he gets in his confessional and saying that he could see a long-lasting relationship with Destiny and could get married to her. But she was a red flag. I don't know if it has something to do with all that stuff that Destiny was talking about. She felt like Mel was grooming her to be in a threesome situation with Martell. Is that the flag? Because we didn't really get into what the flag is. None of that stuff makes sense to me. None of it. He brought up the fact that Destiny was having googly eyes per Kimmy for his godbrother. We find out later that Destiny didn't even know up front. I forgot who told her. I think it was Trish that told her that. That that's her godbrother and So whatever. She did make it clear. You're like, look, if your godbrother's interested, I'm going to take him up on his offer. That's something that you did. That's something that you do when you're mature. Whether it seems right, the optics is something. I think that what's happening is just, it's a more optic type thing instead of just grown adults trying to live life, in my opinion. So they squared everything away. You my homie, blah, 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 blah. Water on the bridge. We move on to the guys for this golf thing. I honestly don't want to talk about them. I will talk about Ken. Ken has finally come to the realization that nothing is going to get better. So he's, as I said, Kelly Price tired. Tired of the way she treats me. Tired of the baby daddy. He's tired. So, not just because of the baby daddy, but also it doesn't seem like there's any progression, even with therapy, that we didn't know that she had therapy going on. Like, there's so much missing from Trisha. It's like, for me, I had more hope that something would help me to like Trisha and all that, but nothing's really panning out that way. And we're so more focused on the drama, and we keep forgetting about the love and marriage part. Even if you're not married, where's the love part at? It's not making sense. It just seems like, to me, Trisha was hired, but they said that they didn't know that Trisha was connected to Martell when she was first hired. So I don't know. But it's just like, I don't know. I wanted more from her. I did. But I think that your producers have failed you, in my opinion. Whomever your personal producers are, to help you to get story. What was I going to say? Yeah, so he's tired at this point. He doesn't see that we're going to get married or anything at this point. But he doesn't want to leave because there's still an investment there. Ken, I think that you're comfortable. And that comfortability, even though you're frustrated and just kind of just done, I think because of your familiarity with Trish, makes you stay. And then also, well, I did put in a lot here. And then I have a feeling you're going to make up in your mind, well, her daughter's still here and all that. She thinks of me as her dad, So we're just going to be in this situation. That's what I think probably going to keep you to stay at least a little bit longer, but whatever. Yeah, I did want to be invested in y'all, but y'all not giving. Y'all are not giving. And of course, Marceau and Martell have a redundant conversation. Where the problem started. We hear about how Sculpt started and how that broke down. How the Holtz thought that they were better than everybody and all that. And this is the thing that always gets me with why the Millimeters say that they were born. Y'all felt like Melanie was on her own island and everybody was attacking her. Shots were fired from the Holtz household first. It's just like, y'all don't get that, and just somehow it's just Mel, poor Mel. We gotta defend Mel when she was nasty to these folks. And I'm stating truth. Do I have this kind of love-hate relationship with Mel? Yeah. Do I speak up for her when she needs to be spoken up for? Yes, I do. No matter how, I know y'all are like all or nothing with this woman, but we gotta go back to A instead of trying to act like F is where things started and the Scots are just so wrong and all that, blah, 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 blah. So, as we want to just somehow impute this into that almond head joker, Maurice. Kimmy was right. We were right. Stevie Wonder was right. And knew that there was nothing going on. Oh, we're not going anywhere. Of course we're not. It just seems like another scene. For what? We're not going anywhere. And I really think it's time to reset and get these OGs out of here. They have nothing else to give. They are there for the familiarity thing, you know. If you want to call it nostalgia, they give nothing. They don't want to give nothing. Nell goes to the gym. She sees Lance and also the godbrother, or the godson. That's her godson. And they start talking because she don't like how Destiny is moving around in her family and feels like Destiny been playing in her face about who she's dating. I have no clue. She's trying to get it out of Lance on if they had sex or not. Because I know my boys. Lance had some character right then and there and never admitted to it because it's none of your business, man. It's like, do you want to hit or something? And I mean, I'm serious because it's just like, what? Why are you asking these questions? Who cares? Who cares? So the godbrother and Lance, they talk. He said, you know, I was interested. I didn't know that she was your lady, but, you know, you're my brother and all that. And Lance said, look, if you guys go for it, it's going to feel weird. But I bless it. I bless it. If it feels weird, Lance, even though I'm kind of being hypocritical, but not trying to be hypocritical, then there had to be some more deeper feelings. but I don't understand how the deeper feelings, and then there was a red flag, as you stated in the first part of the episode. I don't know. It's just very weird to me. It's very weird how y'all talking, but whatever. But I think that Nell is just trying to fight fire with fire because of how she felt about when Destiny said that she needs to evaluate their friendship. And now she's doing all this. Well, she's moving this way, in order to fight up against that, in my opinion, But y'all can give me your opinion about that. But to see how can I say this? Nell is just stuck. And she's very male identified. Her boys do nothing wrong, even though you're sick of them and they drain you and all that. But you're trying to make this girl look like she's a 304. That's crazy. But I'm glad that Destiny gets you together in this next scene. Let's move on to Destiny and Nell having dinner and all that. They finally meet up after the reunion, after 7 episodes. So who knows how long. Because they film like in the fall at the reunion every year. So they talk. And she brings up Nell about this whole re-evaluating the friendship stuff. And Destiny said, yeah, I did. But did you see me act any other way towards you after all that? Yeah, I had to really rethink some things about us. And I still haven't moved any way foul with you, They get on this whole Lance and Godson situation. Destiny said that she didn't even know. Trisha had to tell her. The part that's really bothering her is that y'all didn't even want to mention that he had a baby. Lance. And Destiny said, well, Tisha told me about you guys really hightailed it out of there, out of LA to go because of the birth of this baby. She says it's a lie. And I believe that was told during that dinner scene. I think that was episode 2 or 3. I'm not going back because I'm not that interested in it, but it's in my mind frame. If anyone else thinks that too, please let me know. Or if you have anything contrary to say, and I can admit it later on. But yeah. Then she doesn't like how Destiny's moving. She starts naming off all these men. Jalen, Moses, my son, Godson. And she said Moses was my man. That's the only one that you can really count. Like, what are you talking about? You with everybody's person. But again, if you know your boys, then that means that you really know that your sons are sluts. Just like their daddy was. And I mean to be this vulgar. I do. Because it's just like, y'all, I'm so sick of that. Quit acting like women are the only hoes, or even if they are hoes. If they talk to one other person, they're a hoe. While your sons can do whatever and have babies. And she said, why are you worried about me? Your son was having children. Why don't you worry about that? And then you're left to pick up the pieces as mama for this grown 33-year-old child, 34-year-old child. She got you on that, Nell. Destiny says that she has a lot of respect for Nell. And for some reason, she said that she knew them for a decade. You've been there for a while when I needed advice and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I don't know where the decade comes in at. If y'all know how to calculate and do something. I don't know. Because didn't Destiny come like at the end of season 1, starting at 2? Like okay, but whatever. And though this is 10 seasons, this is not 10 years worth of reality TV. But whatever. So they ended up fixing and mending things. And in a way, I would like for Destiny to just go on and get with the dude. Both dudes are attractive. I think the security guard is more attractive, but hey. Would I do it? No, because the Fletchers are crazy. And they don't know how to respect people. They respect the immediate family, but they will tear you down. And nobody got time for that. Everybody looking at her crazy, but ain't looking at this boy crazy. Stop it. That was the episode. I don't have nothing else. Y'all can tell me what you thought, But Nell, you really sound crazy. Life coach Nell, you sound crazy. And you really just making me turn off from you. Because I just can't believe that you are stuck in the 1820s. Yeah, that's all I got. Again, I don't want to talk about them dudes because why? Nothing got solved, nothing got resolved. Marceau says he doesn't want anything to do with you, so leave it alone. You want to be a victim, but you're not. All right, please like this video, subscribe, share, and get in those comments. And until the next one, peace.